Hello, welcome to Tara Talkies. This is Tara Sahota. So how's everybody doing? I believe you all are doing fine. And I'm here with another video. I see many people requested that I should post something for writing. So today, without wasting any time, I will start discussing about the writing portion of Celban. We did discuss about speaking. I gave you some tips on speaking as well. There are other videos available on my channel too. You can just, take a look at them, learn about how to give your introduction, how to do the assessment and discharge, and some tips for speaking. But in this particular video, I'm going to talk about writing session or the writing module of Celban. I will talk about some general topics today, but then in my next video, I'll be specifically giving you some examples for writing task 1 and writing task 2. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you so that you'll be able to see along with me, because there are certain things that I wanted to share with you. Okay, all right. So before I start anything about this writing task, one tip and suggestion, which is very, very important for all of you, that we need to work on our typing speed. So you'll be getting a limited time, and this task does not require you to write with pen or pencil on a paper. So probably if you have never been into an exam or an online exam, this might be a challenge for you, but this is a pretty simple thing you can overcome. Of course, you will be having a laptop at home, right? So just start practicing it every day, practice it for 10 or 15 minutes. You'll be good with that. Just Google, some typing softwares or typing help, so speed improving things. So when you Google that thing, you will be able to access so many sites where you can actually practice your typing, or you can create any Word document, start typing any article that will also help you with your, reading, writing, all of them together. So that's one thing that I definitely want all of you to do, because without your typing practice, it might be a challenge for you to finish your task in time. Because if you know what to write, but if you're not able to finish that in time, that will be a problem. So this is the first thing for all of you who are going to sit for your Celban exam. If you're not a person who's so good in typing, or you haven't been into using computers, because of course you have been working as a nurse back home, so you haven't got a chance to much typing things on. And if that's something that is new to you, I would say start practicing it now. But if you're already like a pro, well, that's not a challenge for you. So let's just begin then. All right, so the Celban writing test takes like 40 minutes and is part of the Celban computer-based test. So as all of you know that now Celban is online, and it happens in 2 sessions. So the first session is the speaking session. So when you book with Touchstone, they will give you your speaking date, and then within 3 days, they are going to send you an email to book your time for the computer-based test. So computer-based test is for your writing, listening, and reading. Now, one more important thing is that your CBT should be completed, before or after, like 14 days after or before your speaking session. So make sure that if you have not received an email from them, just reach out to them, call their call center, and find out when is going to be your CBT. So that's important, because if you have crossed that, that margin of 14 days, your speaking might not be evaluated or considered. So it's very important that you just keep a track of it. All right, so there are 2 tasks in the writing test, and examinees can divide their time between the tasks. However, they and instructions will be provided along with space to type. Follow the instructions carefully, since the tasks require different writing formats. The first task is a narrative description, and the second is an opinion piece. However, both tasks require the use of complete sentences in paragraph form. So in both of them, of course, you would need to write paragraphs. One would be in the form of a letter, another will be kind of a description. They might ask you to present an opinion on certain situations. So they will tell you a scenario, and they would ask you to explain or give your opinion. So or the writing task 1 could be like based on maybe a fall incident or any incident report in the hospital, which you usually, write in your general routine when you have worked as a nurse in the hospital. So it's nothing new that you have not done. The nursing report is something that you have always been doing, whether you were a student. So when you were a student, of course, you have been taught how to do that. So it's the same thing that you have to do here. And another is like writing some paragraphs. Of course, we can learn about that. So in general, to prepare yourself for writing, definitely we should know what exam expects from us. So exam expects us to, write two tasks. One is your incident report, another is some description or some opinion on the given topic. So yes, we know that thing, but how to prepare for writing? So we're going to discuss like some general points for that. Okay, so this is something this all information is from their Touchstone website. It's nothing that I'm telling you on my own, because we should have a precise information. There is nothing that I'll be telling you from my own, but of course, when I'm going to give you some tips and other things in coming videos also, I will be adding on to that. So writing a narrative report, that means refer to a charted incident report, write a narrative to describe all the information and details given in the report. So they will provide you a report, so you will have some information. So you just have to kind of, put that information into words and make those sentences, put that into paragraphs and present it. So you are not just going to write on a blank canvas, you will be getting something. So that's a positive point. They will give you some material, you just have to use that, right? So we must practice how to use that information. Then express an opinion through a letter. So that will be like read a statement about a health-related topic, write a letter that agrees or disagrees with the statement, explain the reasons for your position, and provide examples and support. So second task could involve any of these things. Then what they're looking from you is, like your productive writing skills will be evaluated in the following categories. So this is important. So what is the task purpose? So how well the written response meets the task requirements, whether it narrates an event, expresses an opinion or not. So when we are talking about that incident, or suppose a patient fall we are talking about, so that incident should be very much clear in your report. So that's what they want to see, whether you have narrated the event well or not. Does that make any sense or not? Or is it just a random collaboration of words put into a sentences and you just, created a paragraph? No, they should make, some sense. Then if they have asked you to, give your opinion, it should express an opinion there. Then it's content and organization, whether the content is organized in a way that makes it easy for the reader to understand the incident and recognize your opinion. So it's very, very important that your content should be organized. You shouldn't be just talking random stuff in your writing. So it's very important that you must organize your writing. Then your grammatical structures, the variety of sentence structures used and their accuracy. It's very important that you use correct grammar. In Celban, they are not evaluating you based on your nursing knowledge, but definitely you are evaluated for correct English. So your grammar, your tenses, use of verbs, adverbs, everything should align, everything should be correct. Then vocabulary. So the variety and accuracy of general and health-related vocabulary, of course. So there will be, you will be using general vocabulary and nursing-related vocabulary or health-related vocabulary as well. Fluency, the flow of your written narrative and letter. So how good is the fluency of the letter? Whether when a reader is going to read that, how much fluency it is into. Whether that, helps the reader to understand what you were trying to say, whether it is organized or not, whether it's grammatically correct or not. So examiners are going to look into all these points when they're going to evaluate your writing task. Okay, so the task one is writing a narrative report. So when Celban test developers created this test, they analyzed the writing skills that nurses are required to use on a daily basis. The following writing abilities were found to be fundamental. So this is based on, what in general nurses need to do, how they are basically, what they're writing in the hospital setting, what they need to write. So based on that, this task was created. So like describe a patient's physical and emotional characteristics, describe an event that happened in the past, is happening now, or will happen in the future. Explain a diagnosis and treatment ordered, express oneself accurately and clearly to avoid miscommunication, organize information so that it's easy for your reader to follow for both efficiency and to avoid miscommunication. So this is kind of very general thing, or very general topics that any nurse would come across when she is in a hospital environment, in a client setting, in a clinical setting. So definitely you are there to learn about the patient, you're talking about the patient, you're giving reports to the other nurse, you're giving your report to the team of doctors, you're attending the rounds, you're definitely talking about all these things. So you have to give oral reports, you will have to give written reports too. So that's why this is one of the important tasks as well. So that's why they have included in the language proficiency. So when you can, because you're required to write these reports, so that's why they want to judge you, they want to evaluate you based on this. And second is second task help in relaying the information and ideas through writing. So the second writing task in Celban assesses your ability to effectively address the topic and compose a response that expresses your opinion. So the first task involved based on patient situation, maybe patient kind of slipped on something, he tripped on something, there was a fall incident, something happened with the patient situation. So that will be an incident which you would have to narrate in your writing. Of course, you will be using paragraphs and explaining, and it should be well organized, it should be fluent, it should be grammatically correct. In the second task, what they're going to ask you is, they will ask you to, give your opinion on some topic. They might give you some health related topic, or maybe a general topic. Most likely it will be a health related topic, and they will give you an article, and then they will ask you to give your opinion. So of course here you will be presenting your ideas, your opinion, what you think about that particular situation, or what idea they are sharing in that article. So this task requires you to write a letter, not a nursing report. So it will not be a report. This is not a report that you are presenting, or other type of nursing documentation. It requires that you address the issue in your own voice. Now, your written response will be evaluated based on your ability to organize your thoughts and use cohesive devices, use a variety of complex grammatical structures, and apply a good range of appropriate vocabulary. This all information I've taken from Touchstone. So this is what they're looking for in your writing. So make sure that you are giving them all what they need. Nothing can stop you to secure the marks that they require. So it's very important that we should have cohesiveness, we should use complex grammatical structures, and there should be a good range of appropriate vocabulary. Don't repeat the words, and do not make your writing or speaking monotonous. There should be, a rich vocabulary that you should be using. So it's really important that you look at your grammar, that you learn new words every day and try to use them in your speech and in your writing. And this type of task allows us to evaluate your general levels of language proficiency as you discuss a topic that is likely familiar to you because it is health related. So that's what they are saying, that why they have kind of organized this task too, because they will give you some health related topic because you're already familiar with that. So they just want you to provide your own opinion, your views on that given topic. It's not difficult. Both the tasks, I believe that they are pretty simple. It's just that we have to organize our thoughts. We really need to have a plan how we are going to do the writing. So some tips and strategies which Touchstone specifically have mentioned is that the length is not a criteria that they evaluate. If the response is short but well argued, it might receive a good evaluation. So please do not focus on writing more and more, but focus on writing organized, precise, fluent, grammatically correct content. That is more important. And the writing task prompt suggests that you produce 3 paragraphs. So that's what they're looking for. They want you to write 3 paragraphs, though this is an intended guideline and reflects a generic template for introduction, development, and conclusion. That's what they want, that you should write the first paragraph as an introduction, second as the development, and of course, the last is always a conclusion. So at least you should have these 3 portions when you're writing your task 1 and task 2. So, however, there is no penalty for not producing exactly 3 standard paragraphs as long as the written response is fully developed, clear, and substantial. So this is a requirement. So definitely you must get that straight into your head. You should not miss out on this. Now, a few things that I wanted to discuss here is how and you will be taking care of the things. Okay, so let's learn some general things that you must keep in mind to improve your writing. It's very important that we must be organized. So organization is one of the essential part of your writing. So organization is important in writing because it helps readers follow your ideas. It is the logical progression and completeness of ideas in a text. When you use signals to direct a reader, it helps to create organization. Cohesive or transitional words and phrases are example of these type of signals. So you must, as I told you earlier also, it's very important for you to go through your grammar portion because you need to learn about cohesiveness, transitional words and phrases, clauses that will help to build, a good writing piece for you. And when you don't use them, your writing may be difficult for your reader to follow because it seems choppy or rough or unconnected. So for your writing to look really fluent, smooth, and in an order, and that the reader can actually enjoy and understand what you were trying to say, it needs to be organized, and there is a need of cohesive and transitional words and phrases to be used in. All right, so this is how the writing organization can be there. Like when you have to explain any sequence or order, you can use the words like first, second, third, next, then, to, begin, to conclude, or finally. If you're reinforcing anything or you're explaining about similarity, you can say also, furthermore, in addition, or besides. Like, furthermore, I would like to add to this, or furthermore, this happened, and also it relates to this. So it's important that you use these kind of, words. And alternative or contrasting things if you're explaining. On the other hand, alternatively, however, and examples for this, like instance, that is in other words. And if you're talking about any results and any consequences, you can say therefore, as a result, and summary or conclusion, you can use in conclusion to summarize and therefore. So definitely you need to learn all these words as well. Okay, so this is just one of the example of writing a very cohesive or using transitional words and phrases, how this writing becomes beautiful if you're putting all those things in it. So I'm just going to read this out to you. Just pay attention how good this sounds to your ears. So ever since I moved into my own apartment last fall, I have gotten out of the habit of making my bed, except on Fridays, of course, when I change the sheets, although some people may think that I'm a slob. I have some reasons for breaking the bed making habit. In the first place, I'm not concerned about maintaining a tidy bedroom because no one except me ever ventures in there. If there is ever a fire inspection or a surprise day, I suppose I can dash in there to fluff up the pillow and slap on a spread. Otherwise, I'm not bothered. In addition, I find nothing uncomfortable about crawling into rumpled mass of sheets and blankets. On the contrary, I enjoy poking out a cozy space for myself before drifting off to sleep. Also, I think that a tightly made bed is downright comfortable entering. One makes me feel like a loaf of bread being wrapped and sealed. Finally, and the most importantly, I think bed making is an awful way to waste time in the morning. I would rather spend those precious minutes checking my email or feeding the cat than tucking in corners or snapping the spread. Well, this is just a very simple topic, why I don't make my beds. It's just, I chose this topic, it's just kind of to laugh, but see, it was a very simple thing, but when you use those transitional words and phrases, that simple thing has also turned out to be like a very complex writing. It's organized, it looks good when you're reading it, so when the reader will find it really nice to go through this piece. So that's what they are looking for. So make sure that your writing is not very simple and you're organized, and there's a fluency, it's grammatically correct. These are some other transitions words that you can use, like and, also, besides, first, second, third. So you can just Google transition words, you'll get the list of all these things. Example is like, in the first place, no burning in the sense of combustion, as in the burning of wood occurs in a volcano. Well, I'm not asking you to write very tough, very complex sentences, but at least use some of the transition words, because that is going to help to improve your writing. I'll leave some links in the comment section so that you can click on them and reach out to some grammar portions, and that will help you to build up your writing. All right, so these are some cause-effect transitions, like accordingly, as a result, consequently, for this reason, hence, so, then, therefore, thus. So this is what you can use. So adding a transition expression, like, I helped the patient get back into bed. I checked her for injuries. So I helped the patient get back into the bed and checked her for injuries. So when you put and there, you don't have to write these two sentences using the same I there, right? So I helped the patient get back into bed and checked her for injuries. So you kind of can connect it, or I helped the patient get back into the bed, then checked her for injuries. Right? So you can use any of those expressions. Now, the other important thing or additional strategies that you can use to develop organization in your writing, that is, check, connect, repeat, apply, provide, and maintain. So check your writing for a beginning, a middle, and an end. Connect ideas and actions, repeat keywords or use pronouns and synonyms to link sentences. Apply parallel structures to parts of a sentence and to sentences within a paragraph. Provide transitions within and between sentences. Maintain a consistent tone and point of view. So this is very important, that we must follow all these points to organize our writing. Other thing I definitely strongly recommend to go through adjectives. So adjectives are the word or phrases, naming an attribute or added to or grammatically related to a noun to modify or describe it. Like, he writes some meaningful letters, this shop is much nicer, the patient was paranoid, the patient was disoriented. So these are kind of adjectives. So adjectives, you can just Google as well, different adjectives, you'll get a list of adjectives. So try to use them in your formation. Like, if you are explaining appearance, or attractive, bold, beautiful, chubby, clean, dazzling, positive personality, agreeable, ambitious. So things like that you can use. Of course, I cannot read out all of them for you, but you can easily find this information. Then adverbs. So adverb is a word or a phrase that modifies or qualifies an adjective, verb, or other adverb or a word group. So expressing a relation of place, time, circumstance, manner, cause, degree, etc. Like gently, quiet, then, or there. So make sure that you read about adverbs too. Like, this is a list of adverbs: abnormally, accidentally, actually, briefly, broadly, correctly, doubtfully, delightfully. So there could be a number of adverbs and adjectives that you can use in your sentence. So it's really important that you must look into basic grammar first, and then actually start writing. So prepare yourself first before you're actually, picking up or typing. Don't pick up. I would say when you're practicing also, just type, because you're going to type it rather than writing. So it's important when you're practicing otherwise as well before the exam, make sure that you're typing, not writing it. Okay, so this is all for now, I would say. But in my next video, I'm going to explain you, go in detail for task 1, and then we will discuss about task 2. So, of course, you can wait for my next videos. And thank you so much for watching and appreciating my content. I wish you all a very, very, very good luck to pass your Celban exam. And so take care of yourself, and bye-bye.